part of Iraq's history may never be recovered. Back in 2003, many watched in horror as looters ransacked the National Museum in Baghdad after the U.S. military failed to secure it. Literally, every single piece that was not too heavy to carry was stolen, more than 15,000 artifacts. The museum finally reopened to the public in 2009. On display, thousands of pieces that were recovered in an international effort that spanned continents, but thousands more remain missing. It's not just about what was stolen from the National Museum. Iraq's history has continuously been pillaged. At Iraq's second largest museum in Sulaimaniya, in the semi-autonomous northern region of Kurdistan, there are cabinets filled with precious artifacts stolen from various archaeological sites.
And these were texts that you had to buy back from smugglers.
One of the most important texts is this one. It's a full text, Sumerian text, written during the old Babylonian period, around 1800 to 900 BC. And it is the first document to tell us about democracy. It concerns the establishment or the existence of two assemblies.
Ironic, as thousands of years later, Iraq is still trying to establish a semblance of democracy. This tablet, says Farouk Arrawi, an expert in archaeology, was found in the country's south.
It's a link, it's like a cartel. As I told you, they take them from the south, went to Iran, come here, and this is what we get out of them. I mean, there are thousands of these which has been smuggled out abroad.
Some end up at the museum's doorstep, but at a cost. Smugglers, Arrawi tells us, asked for $600 for the ancient democratic text.
We cleaned this. It was on mud, some of them. They don't know what it is. If they knew, they wouldn't sell it on that price, certainly.
Paying smugglers most certainly is a controversial move.
The position of not just UNESCO, the international museum community, is we don't buy looted objects because it encourages looting. Simple, full stop. So the Kurdish authorities took a very difficult, and I must admit, a very courageous position, and they said, we are going to buy these objects.
Lately, the smuggling has decreased, in part because of growing awareness and a concerted effort on the part of the authorities. But much more needs to be done if Iraq is to truly preserve its heritage.
So these stones are pre-Islam?
Exactly, yes, pre-Islam. And the largest document back to the Sasanian period in the world.
Hashim Abdullah, the museum director, tells us that in the region of Kurdistan alone, there are thousands upon thousands of sites that have yet to be excavated. Some are still to be discovered.
As this house was being built in a small village some 20 minutes outside of Sulaimaniya, they discovered artifacts dating back to the Assyrian period. That's around 3,000 years ago. Technically, under the laws of the Kurdistan regional government, this should now become a protected area. But in reality, there are many cases where those laws are just too difficult to implement.
It's a challenge not just for the region of Kurdistan, but all of Iraq. These are treasures that don't just belong to this nation, once known as the cradle of civilization, but to all of mankind. Arwa Damon, CNN, for Inside the Middle East in Sulaimaniya in northern Iraq.
Petra's protectors. We meet the Bedouin community preserving their culture at the doorstep of ancient history. But first, our take on the region's top antiquities. The archaeological treasures of the Middle East don't end in Jordan. Here are some of our favorites.